order. Let's join in the pledge of the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I hope that you all have copies of the minutes of the regular meeting held on May 11th, here at March 11th, here at the Firehouse, 2013. I've read the minutes prepared by City Clerk Sandy Langdon, and I find no errors in them. However, I must confess to you all that clerical duties are probably one of my weakest points. Finding errors is not my strong suit. So I'm hoping that those of you who have great ability and to excel at finding errors, omissions, and corrections will bring them forth to the council. If we do not hear any errors, corrections, or omissions, we will entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
A second.
Call the vote. That's good for you.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Motion passed. And Mayor, Leffler, coming from you, that's about as good endorsement as we can get. Yes, you are absolutely the strongest suit when it comes to details. Well, some of us are big picture guys and some of us are detail guys. Okay, here we go. Minutes of the meeting have been approved. City Clerk's cash receipt report. Candy?
Okay, total cash receipts for the month of March, $63,017.69.
If you've all got a copy of that and have a chance to review it, I'll give you a moment or so. And if you are satisfied, we'll entertain a motion to approve.
Jim?
I make a motion that we approve
Moved by Rob,
the cash receipts.
second by Connie. Call the vote.
Aye. Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Reports from city employees and committee chairs. Anything on the police desk? Any?
No, sir. Not at this time.
Not at this time. Connie, how about the streets?
Yeah, we had a meeting on April 2nd at 6:30, and all of us was present, plus Mike, and we discussed several things that we put on the agenda. Okay?
Okay, so you want to wait till we get over there. We'll talk about that quick.
Yeah.
How about the finance, Rob? Anything to report there?
Well, the state has continued to pay, which is good. Almost got a whole year. I hate to jinx that, but I think that we're doing well. Also, too, we're getting toward the time to do appropriations again. So that will be that will be upcoming in the next month or two. We'd like to get that done by June. We have till July technically, but we'd like to get that done by June. Kind of want to get the new people in place and go from there.
I would like to leave it in as good a shape as we can.
Yeah.
Cemetery?
Looked good to me. Roads, look pretty good.
Parks? Water?
No.
Okay.
Oh, well, I guess I did, our new system will be in place, the billing system will go in place. The bills are ready to go out on Wednesday, April 10th. So we'll cross our fingers.
Well, talking to Teresa and Barb today, it looks like they're primed and ready to go.
Yep,
Looks like this should just be a non-event.
I hope so.
Okay. Approval of submitted claims. The Finance Committee has provided us with the claims against the city. They have approved them in committee meeting. That's everything.
Well, I mean,
Good friend, yeah. The Finance Committee has approved the claims and forwarded them to the council for approval. And we entertain a motion to approve these claims and get the warrants drawn. I hear a motion to approve.
I make a motion that we approve.
Rob so moves.
I'll second it.
Second by Mayor Huff. Call the vote. No discussion?
Any questions, anybody?
Okay.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
I think maybe for the edification of all present, we'd like to point out that when you look at these bills that we are approving here today, this is probably about as standard a month as we're ever going to have. In other words, the bills that you just approved pop up every month. We've talked about budgets, we've talked about a lot of things. But this $63,000 that you just approved is pretty routine stuff. And you'll notice that water, sewer, garbage is a big part, and that comes from the water sewer department. You take that $36,000 out of there, you'll see $27,000. That's our bills every month, folks. That's it. That's pretty much what's coming and going on a monthly basis for the city of Toulon. Now, a couple of things are a little light, a couple of things might be a shade heavy, but by and large, that's what you're looking at. You take this piece of paper home, and you look at this piece of paper, and then you look at our payroll, and you'll see our city budget. That's 97% of the budget right there. Rob?
I was just going to say, I believe it's come November. On chemicals, though, we will have some significant savings there in some chemicals and things. So.
And we will, and we hope in time to get rid of that extra surcharge on the water bills. But keep in mind always, water and sewer and garbage is one box, everything else is a different box. And they never mix. So the money that comes in from the water department can't be spent anyplace else or vice versa. But that's pretty much it. That's your budget right there. And those are the kind of expenses that we face on a month-to-month basis. So the only way that you can increase your income would be to increase taxes or user fees. And the only way you can decrease your outflow would be to turn off street lights or to find ways to spend less on payroll or fuel, for example, which is a big item. Preaching is over. No clapping. Delinquent water bills. Now, we have had this on the agenda for 48 months since I've been mayor. I'm hoping next month the next mayor will not have to look at this item called delinquent water bills, because now we have a mechanism in place to take care of all of this, correct? We have today already been taking care of the delinquent water considering that we have the ordinance here in about an hour and a half.
I don't think so. I think most of these, some of them had already paid, because they didn't. The only thing my concern was is that last month, we wanted 565 and 568, they were supposed to get a letter and then shut off, and it looks like the letter hasn't been sent.
565, yes, it has.
Oh, okay.
We got, on 565, we got $50 from them. But it comes in a night drop, and I don't get to see them. I've sent the letter, so my question was, what do you want me to do?
Well, it's already shut off.
Yeah,
correct?
yeah,
Well, okay, if they've paid $50, so then we only have, what, 95.33
Yeah.
left?
mhm.
Just
And what was the other number?
588.
588. Well, that was, we sent it to the owner, and it came back to us address on the, so we gotta find where he is. I know where the renter is now, but the owner, I can't get a hold of yet.
So what are you doing in case we can't find it?
Did you contact the member?
Well, ex-renter, he moved to Kiwani. No, I haven't contacted him yet. We've sent him letters and they've all come back, but now I've never tried the new address that I found of him.
So he hasn't he hasn't actually received a letter?
No, not about,
Yeah, I don't, we'll have to discover the address for the owner, and I think we need to send it also to the letter.
okay.
That's who incurred the bill, is that right?
Mhm.
Yes. So the renter, send a letter to the renter at the new address,
Okay,
and then see what you can do about trying to find an address on the,
on the owner.
on the
Okay.
owner. Yeah. Those are the only two that I saw that was left over.
These numbers?
But they had until, when? Today?
Pardon me?
When, okay, under the old system, when do they have to pay the bills?
It was today.
Today?
Yeah.
Okay, so any of those that are over 3 months. That's what she said. Then they should be tagged.
Okay.
Put your heads together because it's coming up next. Do we need to do anything then?
Since this is still under the old system, I would imagine.
You can't hurt a thing, I suppose.
Exactly, that's,
All right, so Mayor Leffler suggests that in as much as we're still under the old system for a few minutes anyway, we may as well go ahead and make a motion to turn off the delinquent bills as we have for previous however many months. So we will entertain a motion to make the turnoffs for the delinquent water bills as we have in the past. Do I hear such a motion?
unless you, okay, I think, okay, some of these that are already on here have already paid,
Right,
so we can't go by that.
well, right.
Yours,
Once we're only turning off the bill, the water service for those who have not paid.
yeah. They're over 3 months. I'd like to make a motion. make a motion to turn off all, well, they need to be flagged first, tagged, and then shut off. In the appropriate time, all of the accounts that are over 90 days.
They have been flagged already.
They already have?
Mhm,
Okay,
yes.
well, okay, mine says will flag, that's why.
Yeah, well, when I had to make that one out, but we tagged them today. Or the
Okay,
guy
so,
said.
okay, so then they will be, you can scratch that off of my motion
I have, let's see, on the motion to shut off billing bills,
over 3 months.
3 months, they have already been tagged.
Yeah.
Okay. Is that a motion?
Yeah, she made the motion.
I made a motion.
John seconds. Call vote.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Next mayor will not have to do that. Mr. Bucker, anything on the attorney's desk?
No.
All right. I'll make a motion. All right, the next item on the agenda is TIF. Teresa,
Yes, sir.
last month you presented me a list of bills from the TIF fund which could be paid back to the city as compensation for incurred charges by the city in setting up the TIF. And I think you and Mr. Milroy worked that out together and you've come up with a number. Are you prepared to give us a TIF report with the amount that you have currently in the bank and the amount that could be paid back to the city?
In the savings account, we have $76,175.82. The checking account, $1.40. We have a balance of $76,177.22. On the claims, bills claims this month, we have $1,500 and $500 going out. So after we pay those, it will be $74,177.22. We owe the general account, the city, or the TIF owes the city $13,107.07. They owe the bonds for the subdivision $22,500, and the water and sewer is for the Whitaker water line and subdivision, and that's $35,607.07. So that's a total of $71,214.14 that the TIF owes the city. If we would pay those tonight, that would leave us a balance of $2,963.08.
So what you're saying is that if we were to clear up all the debts to the city, and we're doing this, if we were to do this, we would be doing this earlier than we ever have before. We have always paid the city out of the TIF revenues that came in June and August. Basically, we're moving the whole schedule up 6 months. That's what Teresa's saying. That would leave us 3,000 and change, Teresa?
Not quite 3,000, yes.
I would propose to you folks this evening that since only Don Turnbull and I will not be here next month to help spend the money, and Don and I probably aren't going to work too much, that we kick this can into the next fiscal year.
We can we?
We can, except for the $3,000, which you can pretty easily find a home for. But if we kick this can into the next fiscal year, what we're doing is we're putting this money into the water and the general fund. So we're fattening up all of the city's coffers, legally and properly, going into the next fiscal year, giving the council and the new mayor something to work with going forward. Now, if I may regress a moment, 4 years ago, we started out negative. We didn't have payroll. We started out in May with no money, and we only made it through because the state of Illinois gave us 2 months of income tax checks in May. We made it through. We were in pretty tight financial straits 4 years ago. We're in pretty good shape now, we've got some money to hand the new council and the new mayor, which I think is probably good for the city. Now, if 5 of you who are going to be here know this going in, and you know you've got these funds in the water, and you know you've got them in the general, it gives you a starting point to begin doing things now, this coming year. You can come in May, and you can start working on getting some things done. Furthermore, you can take the 3,000 and change that Teresa just mentioned that you have, and you can find a project to throw that money toward, a worthwhile project, which you can also fund in the 2014 fiscal year, which begins on May 1st. So if you have something that you'd really like to do that's TIF eligible, you can start getting the work done now and fund it further in May and June. You'll have plenty of money. Does this make sense, I guess, Rob?
Mr. Mayor, can I ask
Sure, go ahead.
Teresa, now, if we kick the can down, if we do this, though, we can't then back and spend that 70,000 on something else, can we?
Once that money, Rob, goes into general fund and water, you can spend it on anything you want to spend it on.
No, but what I'm getting at is, why are we kicking the can? I mean, if we're going to do this, did I make sense? What I'm saying is, we're saying we're putting 71,000 toward these 3 items. We cannot then spend that 71,000 on another project, correct?
Not through TIF.
Not through TIF.
Not through, that's what I mean, not through TIF.
But you spend the money through general fund or water. You see, the money is there. You haven't lost a dime. It's just the source of the revenue now becomes general revenue and water instead of TIF. So you've got, the money actually becomes more liquid and more usable.
Well, but why is it any more usable next month than this month if we pay it and we're done? I'm confused as to why we're kind of doing that. It's kind of like we're saying, this is what we're doing, but we're not going to do it till May.
Well, you have to pay the city back anyway, Rob.
Right.
These things that Teresa said are legitimate debts that the TIF owes the city. Now, you could do that in June, which you probably would anyway. You're going to be paying the city, as we have for 6 years, these same funds in May and June anyway. So all you're doing is paying them now in April to satisfy the requirements of the TIF fund. The money doesn't go anywhere. It's not lost.
No.
It's right. It's still in the city, but the money is actually more liquid and more usable in your hands as the council. The council has more access to that money than it would if it remained in the TIF fund.
He's saying
Well, I
that
think,
he's paying the city back out of the TIF.
But how is it any more liquid in June than it is if we pay it right now and we're done with it?
He's paying it
Well,
back.
let's back up just a minute.
Okay.
If you say that you are going to pay the city back its water bills and general bills, this all came out of the water and general fund, the 2 accounts that we have.
Right.
Now let's suppose you want to buy a drinking fountain for the park. You can't do that with TIF, but you can do that from general fund. So when you pay back the general fund, the money that is legitimately owed to the city, you can spend that money on anything that you so desire. The dollars become free to spend for park, for streets, for sidewalks. But when you spend the money through TIF, you can only spend it as per the TIF plan.
No, I think we're double talking here.
okay.
We're paying back tonight. We've now made it liquid to spend on the water fountain, or what we want to do.
Sure.
What difference if it's tonight or June? It is still liquid, and it's not coming out of any different funds.
Rob, we have to spend the money by April 30th to go back.
Well, that's what we're saying.
That's what we're talking about. We're talking about cleaning out the fund by the statutory requirements of TIF.
That's not what
We have to clean out the
But
fund.
can I, okay.
Go ahead,
I
Marilyn.
think, okay, before we go any further, if we're gonna discuss this, we need to rescind the other motion. Because the motion was that we were gonna spend this money on the park.
But we find that it's not eligible through the TIF plan.
They're taking the money now, figure it out, get it, they can do it.
But
It's all right.
If you give the city back 25,000, for example,
okay, what I'm
You
saying
can
is,
spend it on the park.
do we need to rescind that motion that we said that we were gonna spend this on the park?
That's already been approved.
Yes, that's been approved.
I mean, I think that.
So technically, we don't have any money.
Well, it's been approved, at least accounting wise, it's what's better.
Don't we, yeah, doesn't the
No,
motion need to be?
I was thinking that, but I'm not sure, I was thinking that the TIF district was on a calendar year spending?
No.
Rather than fiscal?
No.
It is
Fiscal.
fiscal?
No, it's fiscal.
It's the end of April.
Okay. Well, I
It
mean,
used to be the other way, Bruce, but they have changed it.
Oh, okay. Because, I mean, I was just saying, well, maybe we don't have that deadline of April 30th, but, I mean, this money has already been committed.
Yeah, that's
So-
what I mean, don't we have to rescind that? If we're gonna change our mind, don't we have to rescind that motion?
You might be right. Even if we found out it's not
Well-
eligible for TIF, it was still.
I'm not sure that you would have to rescind it. I mean, I'm not sure, I don't know if there's any deadline on exactly when that money would be spent. So the fact that it's not rescinded, it would still be that at some point that money's going to be spent.
Yeah, but that's what I mean.
Right.
If we're not.
But that doesn't mean
If
that-
we're not gonna spend it on the park, don't we need to rescind the motion?
But I don't know that it said it would be spent this fiscal year.
the problem is
saying
April 30th. The April 30th deadline is the problem for you.
Right.
Right, but I mean, if the money has already been committed.
But
for
when
that-
for an account, okay, if I'm looking at my minutes, and I say you said that we were gonna spend this on $70,000
Right.
on the park, and then you turn around and say, now I'm gonna spend $70,000 to pay back the funds, isn't that?
Well, my understanding is that it's the commitment has to be made during the fiscal year. Not that the money necessarily has to be
If we do this, then
spent.
we're committed
It doesn't,
under.
it doesn't
something
change,
else.
it doesn't change anything you
Right.
may have voted on.
But there's no deadline on
Right,
the park.
right.
money being spent.
There is no deadline.
That my understanding. I don't remember.
We must clean up this fund by April 30th. We must clean it up.
Well, maybe I'm wrong, but my understanding would be that that money was appropriated and approved to be spent. And I think I don't know that the money actually has to have been spent, it has to have been committed for that purpose in this fiscal year. So I don't know that you would have to also actually move the money somewhere, or move the
So we can
funds.
commit to more money than what we have.
I think you can,
So now they want
yes.
to repay the city.
Sure.
Well, but isn't that just creating a huge, I mean,
I'm not saying do that, I'm saying can you do it? Yes.
Well, here's the problem. If we don't dot our i's and cross our t's, the school and the county and the township can come back on us and demand that money.
right.
So all I'm saying is let's get our t's crossed, our i's dotted. What you guys want to do in June, May, June, it's up to you. The money is not going away. It's simply going from one account to another account. The account that it goes to is more liquid and more available to you than where it currently sits. How you spend it is your choice. That's the council's choice, how to spend that money. You want to spend it on the park, knock yourself out. You want to spend it on the ball diamond, that's fine. But we must commit this money by April 30th. The funds have to go somewhere. They can't be sitting in that account. Now, the other problem is, well, the other problem is that we have to sign the TIF reports. And you're not going to get the TIF report signed by the people who are involved if the TIF does not comply to the letter with the TIF plan. Now, unless it complies with the plan, I don't think you'll get the city accountant to sign. You won't get my signature on it. And I don't know how Bruce feels about it, but it must comply with the plan to the T. If you want to do something else in June, fine. Rob?
Mayor, may I talk to?
Sure, sure.
We have committed 70,000. We can't spend this on, to the city if we've committed, but we need to find out.
I think you need to rescind it, so
Okay.
it's off the table. And every city is different on how they get rid of their money and stuff. And what I was told, that you always had to get rid of your account to the zero balance for our city. So that's why I think you need to rescind that and then spend this money to get it to closest to zero as you can.
Because we can't, we've committed it, but we cannot spend it. We found out that legally we cannot spend it on the park.
Yeah, you need to make an amendment to go ahead with the park, and there's not enough time for that.
The plan has to be amended to do that. It can be amended. You can do that. It's your choice. But Teresa's right. The money has to go out of that account. It's got to be zeroed out April 30th.
But I still think just, what does it hurt? It doesn't hurt anything to get it rescinded so it's off.
You want
Yes,
us to
and
cross
I
our
think
T's
we
and
should.
cross our T's and dot our I's, I think we need to rescind it.
Yes, I
You guys do what you want to. Next month, you start all over again. Do the same thing again. It doesn't matter. It's the same people, the same attitudes.
But we can't rescind it next month because it's got to be.
Yeah,
It's
I would do
a
it
bookkeeping
tonight.
issue. This is a bookkeeping issue, primarily. It's primarily complying with the statutes so that we do not run afoul of the state of Illinois.
Well, rescind, would that be just a motion?
Yeah, you can make a motion, you can rescind the prior resolution. And if it's the case, which I don't know, that this money cannot be used by the park and not amending the plan, then I would say, yeah, you probably do need to rescind until you get the plan amended. But, you know, I don't know.
Well, I make a motion then that we rescind the 70,000 in TIF that was earmarked for the park.
It was actually 70 for 3 years.
No, it was actually 70 a year.
Per year for 3 years. That's what the motion was. That was actually a year ago, last month.
So now we have to rescind all 3 years, or can we just rescind?
Just rescind the motion, Rob. The motion. Yeah, the motion.
Rob made a motion to rescind the motion.
Previously stated for the, oh, that's your motion, I'm sorry.
Previously stated for the parks, right.
Any further discussion?
Okay, so no more mentions that we need to say.
No, I think
Rescind the motion. A motion to rescind the motion. We'll have to research that to find, I believe it was March last year.
Previously stated for the motions previously stated for park.
Yeah.
To use TIF money for the
Yeah,
park.
TIF.
That would be the best one.
Yeah.
Just TIF money for the park.
Okay, come right back next month and do it over if you want.
I second that.
Did you second that? Is that what you
I
said?
just did.
Okay. This one doesn't work so good. That one's good.
I think we got it.
Teresa?
Did
you
you
have
do
comment?
all 210 or just the 7?
The motion, Teresa, the whole motion,
All of them.
which is 210.
Okay, thank
Yeah.
you.
All previous motions.
Anything from the,
So read it back one more time, even though I said it.
Okay, now, end the word. Rob made a motion to rescind all previous motions stated for the TIF money, to use TIF money earmarked for the park. Where
pertaining to the part, pertaining to.
pertaining to.
Yeah, that gets you clear.
For the park. Rob made a motion to rescind all previous motions stated for the TIF money pertaining to the park.
Sounds reasonable. Anything from the floor?
So this is just, so that this account is emptied by the 30th.
And you and
That's why
I
we
get to
did it.
spend it now.
If we need a place for that extra $3,000,
I think you should, I think,
We had a second, and we had a vote.
we had a second. Usually we ask for comments from the community if there isn't. Yes, Mr. Zerlo.
Yes. I think you intended to improve the park, and you cannot do it legally because of the way your pit is set up. However, you can still work on the park if you're solving some of the drainage problem.
Perfect.
So just change your project, so the money is allocated to start with that and to do the park.
Exactly. Thank you.
Am I not mistaken, if the money goes into the general fund, we can turn around and spend it on the park?
That's correct.
Yeah.
The money that we're putting back in the general fund is money that is owed to the city. And once it is in the general fund, this council, except for Mr. Turnbull and myself, will, and the next mayor then, will have that opportunity to spend that money in any way that they so desire.
Just the general fund, not the bonds.
Well, yeah, what goes back to the general, you can spend it any way you see. Teresa?
I also, there is one request that we did get from Give Her Eyes.
Yeah, let's,
No.
let's
Okay.
Not tonight.
let's
Okay.
go vote first.
I'd like you to keep in mind what Mr. Zerler said here about the park and the drainage and those other things, because that's very pertinent. So we'll call the vote on the motion to rescind the motion to spend the sum of $70,000 per year for 3 years on the park.
No, there's no figure.
No figure, just the motion to rescind the motion, which
Motions.
Sandy can find the motion, so she can rescind it. Debbie? Yeah.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
No. Aye.
The motion carries. Mr. Turner, there's 3,000 left, and I think it's all deference to your many years of service. That really, it would be great if you would suggest the use for that money for a project. Because Teresa, come up with a number, please, for Mr. Turnbull.
For what now?
Come up with a number for Mr. Turnbull that he might want to make a motion where we could spend that $3,000.
Did you make a motion to spend that money back to the city?
No, we haven't.
Not yet.
No, we haven't, but
Get ready.
I want you to keep working on it.
$2,963.08
Okay.
is what would be left.
That would, what would be left? We have a number of projects, and you could even come up with one down there. Notice there's a pole of wire in front of your house after the last rain. All right. Where we started with this was the idea that we would use the TIF revenue that currently resides in the TIF checking and savings accounts. That must be cleared out by April 30th to comply with the requirements of tax increment financing laws. By paying the city back those funds, we are in essence moving ourselves a few months ahead of where we have been for the past few years. We have the funds available. This will give the city, you folks, the city council next month, the opportunity to use these funds in the accounts to which they're paid. General funds can be used for anything in the city. Public safety, water fountains, sidewalks. Water funds can be used for anything in the water department. But that money will be liquid and available for you to use, whether you buy down your bonds or however you want to do it. So we now stand at the point that the funds are available. $71,000, Teresa, please, the number.
$71,214.14.
That money we can now move to the city.
Oh, we haven't made a motion yet.
We have not, we need a motion. We need a
No,
motion.
we can't.
So what we're looking for is a motion to do this.
I make a motion that we
Yes.
pay all our debts. Let's get it cleared off the vote tonight. And we'll be left with $29,63.08.
That's
And then
correct.
we're gonna have to decide what we're gonna do with that.
Yes, you must.
Yes, but let's get this cleared up first.
Let's get
Okay.
the big job done.
Johnny makes the motion and Mayor Leffler seconds the motion. Any discussion? If not, we'll call the vote.
Aye.
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 Abstain. Aye.
All right, motion passes. Now, the TIF fund is down to $2,900 and
$63.08.
we need to appropriate that money towards a project. We have lots of things that need to be done that are eligible.
There's no commitments out?
No commitments yet. We have,
We've got,
Shane, is there anything committed on like the Union Street for engineering?
No.
No? Okay, that's the only thing I'm aware of.
So there's no outstanding TIF agreements?
No.
That we're committed to paying into?
no,
So, Teresa?
The general account paid Mr. Roach for the elevator project $2,181. Also on the library project, the MFT paid $1,762.71. And also Gibbler Ice is here and he has requested some money. I think really those are the three areas that you need to look at, is my suggestion.
Per the report of the TIF administrator, do we have any suggestions for the $2,900? Is there any sidewalk yet out to the library, Shane?
We haven't put any back yet.
We didn't put anything back after we replaced the sewer.
No.
Rob?
Could I ask Mr. Gibbler
Sure.
a question on, because TIF really is to help in businesses. In helping, and I know that you had to put in your filters and things like that and the cost. Has that shown an increase, or will that increase employees, or could it increase employees if we, have we seen some, have you seen some better business with it? And because that's what, we've helped other businesses and gotten some, we've seen some return. And so I would really like to kind of lean that way, but I'll shut up now and later.
It's helped me move forward. Last spring we had a problem with the RO originally. Mike, if you could probably explain it a little easier, where originally when the RO was put in, it was anticipated for a certain amount of water usage. Over time, swimming pool, everybody have a swimming pool in the backyard, this and that, it wasn't able to keep up where it affected my product, which is ice. And so we had to stick our own RO system in, and that's basically what I'm asking for the fund for. And now that I can bank on my ice basically and not have to worry about whether or not my water's going to be cloudy or this or that. So I've been able to move forward with that, knowing that I will have ice and be able to have solid ice and move forward.
When it was cloudy, does that kill you? Does that just, you can't?
When the sodium content so high, it's not able to solidify. So what I'm dealing with is when the city water, when they had to switch on the old system, I was bagging slush. It wasn't actually forming into a solid cube. So that was greatly affecting my business. So I stuck in my own RO system that took care of that problem.
Teresa?
I talked to Gene before we started, and I also said that if he does not get any money tonight, not to be discouraged, that we would carry his over for next year or in July when we get some money.
I think that's very appropriate. And actually, Mr. Gibbler, and in fairness to you and the city, in as much as there'll be a new council seated next month and a new mayor, I'm not going to go either way. If this council wants to vote on it, if you're great, that's fine. But it probably would be more apropos, I think, in the new fiscal year. But that's just my feeling on it. So, but please don't feel that if we do not appropriate funds for you tonight, that the door is closed.
Okay, right.
We have a question.
Connie, go ahead.
The elevator project, like Debbie and I, we have no clue, maybe Donna does, but What, I don't even know what that is.
Okay.
It was a drainage problem. We put a cement culvert the length of Clinton Street and a couple catch basins. And we still have a little more work to do up there. And then we seal coated everything. But those are just projects that we paid along the way that were TIF eligible, but there wasn't TIF funds at the time. So the appropriate general funds paid them. And the city is just, like Mr. Gibbler and everybody else, put requests back in to be reimbursed. Unlike what you just paid back, those were TIF funds committed when the projects took place. The city did the elevator project and the library project anticipating that they could apply for TIF also. So it's not the same as the 71,000 that was a TIF project. These were projects the city did that are within the TIF district, that are TIF eligible, and we're just asking that the MFT be reimbursed and the general fund be reimbursed, but they've already been paid.
Yes.
What is this amount that is recommended to be held back? The $23.75?
The 2375, Teresa, is committed funds for,
I just thought, in case you didn't know what to do, maybe that would be something good to hold back, just in case an emergency would come up. But since...
It's something we can hold back, though, and we won't lose
Right.
April 30th?
Mhm. But you don't, I mean, if there's other things on here that you could pay that might be better off done. We'll have more money coming in July.
the fund will start filling back up in July, so you basically have to get it zero from May 1st till that money starts coming in, or at least have it committed to that money.
So we can use that 2375.
Right.
Keep in mind, folks, you're going to be flush. The city's going to be looking pretty good come July, August. Financially, the numbers are going to be very rosy around here in July and August. Don't get crazy. We've run, it's taken us a while to get to that point, but we'll have some money. And there'll be some things that you can do with TIF and general fund in July and August. And you should, Rob should be able to make those projections by the second week of May. So there's some things that you'll be able to do. But there are also many things that are crying for attention in the community. Many things crying for attention. Veterans Parkway, which gets you into your park. Union Street Extension, which gets you senior housing over here. Low-income housing, which Mr. St. John has brought to us a number of times. There's some things we can do, you can do.
The library was paid, MFT footed 1762.71. Our MFT could definitely use some help.
Yes.
I wouldn't mind getting that paid back, and the remainder take out of, Roach was paid out of the general.
Yes.
And commit the balance, that would be about 12, just about 1,200 even. Well, we can make it 1,200, and it would leave about 37 cents, I think, in the account.
Well, where was the 1,200 going to go?
General fund.
General fund to pay, we paid $21.81 to Mr. Roach out of the general fund.
Right.
And I'd like to do all the MFT, clear that off.
Okay.
And then that would leave, and if we did 1,200, I guess we could do 1,237 cents, but I mean, if we did 1,200, it would leave 37 cents in our account, which is virtually spent, I mean.
Okay, I think I understand. Teresa, does that make sense to you?
Yep.
Okay.
You gotta make a motion on
I will make a motion that we pay MFT from the TIF, the 1762.71 that they covered, and then $1,200 to the elevator project that came out of the general fund for Mr. Roach.
Teresa, if it's under 50 cents, it's inconsequential, correct? It rounds down? Bruce, how are we doing here? On the idea that we have to clean out the fund.
Yes.
If it's less than $1, is it okay, or is
I
it
think
less?
that's inconsequential, yes.
So, yeah, so we're okay on the 37 cents.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm cool with that.
Rob, I don't know, can you say it one more time? I kind of partly lost.
I'm sorry.
Rob made a motion that we pay the MFT from TIP.
We paid the MSP for the library project, $1762.71.
Okay.
And then we paid the elevator project, $1,200. And that's the general fund.
That's a motion.
I second.
There's a second. Any further discussion? If not, we'll call the vote.
Like,
Aye.
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 Motion carries 5-1. That takes care of TIF. Folks, we have some things to do tonight that have to do with employees, specifically having to do with retirement. We're going to have to discuss some of these things in executive session. When we come out, I expect that we will have a vote. Maybe or maybe not. Anyway, we'll see how it goes. But we need to do some things because time is of the essence on some municipal retirement issues. We need to get those knocked out. I'm going to ask the council to stay, Shane and Mike to stay after Mike has a smoke. And I hope it doesn't take more than 25 minutes. But I guarantee you 25 minutes anyway. Okay? We're going to make a move to executive session. Stated reasons for employee retirement and employee issues.
I think you just have to state is permissible would be exact.
We need a motion to go to executive session to discuss employee retirement and employee issues. Second? All vote. I'd like to ask Shane and Mike to stay. John? Oh, yeah, that's gonna go up.
Get out of here.
Mark, Mike can be in reserve.
Wait a minute.
We'll probably get done with Shane and Mike and ask you to come in.